Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 489. It's gonna make a nice little Mario Day gauntlet video for you all, and turns out the gauntlet's down. So back to expeditions it is, and cool. We've got Lee Sin here. This is a fun archetype that I'm glad we get to dive in and take advantage of before it's gone. What is this? 489. So we have like 11 or 12 left. I think it's 12 given how the math works. And God, people tuning in and watching me trying to do math. It's an embarrassment every time. But no, oh, excuse me. I think this will be fine. It's good and fun. It's good to get a Lee Sin trial in here. This is one of the classics, and so we'll get this pulled up on the site real quick. Let's see here, Lee Sin and Spellslingers. There's a couple of interesting things going on with Spellslingers Light. The first and foremost thing is there's only 4 commons, and then one of these commons is Claws of the Dragon. And so we do want to take like special note that we do have this opportunity to perhaps get 5 and 6 and 7 Claws of the Dragons together in one deck, just depending on how things come together. And so I almost always look to do that. I don't like to go super deep with the Claws of the Dragons in terms of adding sparring students to the board and the likes of that, but that's a very powerful thing that we can pursue. Now, the second thing that we like to look at with this is you got to kind of just stay away from Bilgewater. You do not want the Fizz archetype showing up. If we go to Fizz and Spellslingers, there's just not a lot here that really plays to the theme. There's good cards, right? Shell Shocker's fine, Slippery Wave Rider's fine, but this never really got integrated well into the Spellslingers deck. The idea of playing all these spells. There's kind of like 2 ideas going on with this one. Right, the one on the one hand, it's like, well, if you're just playing a whole bunch of spells, you're not going to have any units, and so you're getting units like Double Trouble out of the Fizz archetype, but there was never like the density of them for this to actually get pulled off. And then the other thing over here is they're trying to make this a little bit of Bilgewater elusives, right, to where you'll find the likes of Slippery Wave Rider. They used to have the sea monster in here. Then down in the epic space, you have Shelly and you have Wiggly Burblefish. That's not really worth pursuing either. We're not going to come out here and just try to find a bunch of epics. And so we want to maximize our Lee Sin abilities to get these Claws of the Dragon. So that's kind of step number 1, right? Just stay away from Bilgewater. Step number 2, we kind of hinted on a little bit though, is you either need spells that generate units. That's going to be something like Concussive Palm. You want units that generate spells. That's going to be like Scales of the Dragon. Or you want spells that generate spells, something that'll give you 2 cards out of 1. So Sonic Wave is 2 spells out of 1 card. Things like Deep Meditation draw additional spells and replace themselves. The main thing and reason for this is it's very easy to run out of spells if we're just playing a bunch of combat tricks over and over again. And so if we put a unit on the board and play Twin Disciplines twice, it's nice to win that combat, but we're going to run out of cards in hand. We're never going to get up to 8 spells to flip the Lee Sin. And so that's the kind of key thing in the card generation here is you need units that make spells, spells that make units, or spells that double up on spells. The last thing we talk about with Lee Sin is it's not a requirement to be able to give him Overwhelm, but it helps things quite a bit. And so if you're not familiar with this, when Lee Sin flips and does the Dragon Kick, if he has Overwhelm, the Dragon Kick knocks the unit away, and so the opponent takes that amount of damage, whatever his attack is. And then with the Overwhelm, since there's no unit, he does his full damage to the opponent again. And so it's very easy to get like a 6 or an 8 attack Lee Sin, Dragon Kick your opponent for 16 or so, and get an easy OTK. And so if you are looking for the Overwhelms, you typically look to Targon for Zenith Blade. Targon also has, incidentally, I should say, has the thing that makes Aphelios weapons. And then we also look towards Noxus, where you could find Reforges, or you could find something like Might, find Kato the Arm. Whatever it takes to get Overwhelm on Lee Sin is something we like to pair into. And so, welcome to the squad here, and then let's see what we do out of these. Interesting set. There's like 2 things I'm seeing when I look at these. We're just gonna skip out on Misfortune, right? We're not drafting Bilgewater. The Galio is kind of interesting. There's a good collection of spells in here. And then there's some good, like, giving Lee Sin a toughness boost with Durand Protege is kind of nice. The Mentors doesn't help us with the terms of spells generating units, units generating spells, and that kind of thing, but it does give us some nice defensive measures for a deck that's trying to go tall, right? If we're going to kind of go all in on Lee Sin, it is kind of nice to be able to protect his health. Now, it's not something that you have to be like super into, given that he can give himself barrier off of the second spell, but it's something that is something to think about there. Otherwise, I kind of look towards this Slice and Dice Kennen. This is the Bandle City half of Slice and Dice. We could look to pick up things like Conchologist. That would be a fantastic addition, just having a unit that can generate the spells and also be an early game play. And then I guess Kennen himself does generate a spell. We're not going to get too deep into like recall kind of things, but could be useful having Kennen out here generating the spell. Throw a lightning storm or whatever and have that count towards Lee Sin. Again, kind of tough to pull off, but it's something, right? Ticks him up one level. And so I think I'm a little bit more into the Kennen than the Galio. I do want to pull up this archetype real quick. I don't think that there's going to be too much in here that we're completely interested in, but there should be some useful things. Oh, it's a little bit better than I thought, right? There's Otterpuss. That's a unit that generates a spell, also replaces the mana. That's pretty good. Yordle Squire, which is in our starting pack, generates a spell. And then the one I was mainly interested in here in Conchologist, the big boy here, the main unit that generates the spells. And so we do have some pretty useful cards here out of Bandle City. I think this is going to be completely fine. But at the end of the day, we're going to try to be a big Lee Sin build around. Okay, and so, ooh, yeah, Snapjaw Swarm, that's what we need, right? No. So here, I'm not particularly amped about Steel Tempest, but Claws of the Dragon is fantastic. The way I'll probably be tearing this off is, does the pack have a Claws of the Dragon? Then we'll go for it. Does it have one of those specific spell packages we're looking for, right? The units that generate spells, whatever. Then we'll go for that. And then if it doesn't meet any of those criteria somehow, then we'll probably just pick whatever's cheapest. But Claws of the Dragon is a welcome addition to the deck here. With these, definitely staying away from Bandle City. Get that out of here. This is the Shurima half out of Landmark Destruction. I don't want to add Shurima to the deck. I'm pretty certain this doesn't just count as Bandle City, and this does count as adding Shurima to our deck. Not exactly sure, but man, I guess like the Fey Blade Twirler is kind of okay, but we don't really want Defiant Dance. I wish I knew how the game worked. Man, these cards are so good, and the Hothead and the Bomber Twins. I'm gonna take it. Hopefully this doesn't punish us. Don't be Shurima. Okay. All right. We have to put in a physical Shurima card for that to count. If we come down here and take... Oh, the Safety Inspector. I thought he was Shurima. Okay. Whew. All right. That was close. But hopefully our deck doesn't get too far off track taking that one now that we see the Landmark Destruction turn up in a synergy pick, but hopefully that doesn't become an issue. But down here we have the Scattered Pod and the Scales of the Dragon. Both of these are units that generate spells. It's a fairly easy take for us. The Scattered Pod is also a fairly good late game play. Coming here, excellent, Snapjaw Swarm again. Just another completely dead pack that we absolutely cannot take. Well done, Riot, well done. But here, coming out of this one, I don't like that we're taking all the Landmark Destruction, but the lead and follow is pretty bad. We don't have too much trouble getting Sonic Waves. It can be pretty easy to end up with a deck that has like 4 and 5 Sonic Waves in it. And so I'm going to come down here and just take the Arena Kingpin. He's a little bit more powerful. Okay, coming from these, interesting. There is the Lecturing Yordle that can generate the spells, but I think with this one we just want the Dragon's Rage. It's incredibly powerful along with the Sonic Wave. Our spell count is really low at this point as well. Usually look to have this to be about like 50-50. We're fairly far away from that. But coming out of here, we got a Claws of the Dragon. Looks good. On to the next one. Got a Claws of the Dragon. Looks good. Oh, and then a Decision. Okay, so this is not a particularly strong pack. I don't want Yordle Explorer. We're pretty far away from being Yordles. Kinku Lifeblade's pretty bad here. Steel Tempest is pretty bad here. So I think I'm just going to go with the Scales of the Dragon out of this, even though the Steel Tempest isn't particularly strong. All right, another Claws of the Dragon. Looks good. All right, another Claws of the Dragon. Looks good. Up to 5. That's a pretty good number. And what do we get out of this one? With these, I'm looking towards this Otterpuss. Just generating these pranks is going to be quite good. The Navori Conspirator, we're not going to have tons of combos with, but it does have some things. The Yordle Squire, the Bomber Twins, this Otterpuss we're about to pick up, Hothead. It's not zero for him, and so he's a welcome addition. Ooh, look at these Green Glade duos, man! I don't think we can do it. I mean, I don't like this the Claws of the Dragon Green Glade duo aspect of this. I'm just going to go with the Deny and the Lookout. it's tough to come in and pass those up though. Those are both top notch cards. Then here with this last one, I don't want the Inventive Chemist, right? We don't have any combos for the Scrappy Bomb. We might find something to put the Fey Guide on to give elusive. I'm not particularly interested in it either. You usually end up with like a Horns of the Dragon, and you can get like a big double strike attack in case your Lee Sin fails. But our deck didn't see any today, and so that may not be able to get pulled off. All right, so you all know what time it is. Before we get going, we got to go and turn something premium. Pay to win. The pay to win price. Let's see what turns up. Like Hothead? Is Hothead our guy today? This guy's kind of interesting. And see, this is our new way to give Lee Sin Overwhelm, right? We're just going to have to hit on the Hothead to get the Overwhelm for our boy. Okay, that's it. Let's jump on in. All right, enough to battle. So yeah, 5 Claws of the Dragon, not bad, not bad. It's a reasonable number. I think I've gotten up to 7 before, but we don't have like too many combos with it. You can still pop them off with like Sonic Waves. I think we only got like 2 Sonic Waves here, but we'll have to see how this comes together. This is one of these decks that it can be tough in terms of you really need Lee Sin to win a lot of games. Like doing the Claws of the Dragon stuff's cute, and we'll probably come across a game to where we spew like 4 onto the board and just win. But when you only have 1 copy of Lee Sin, a lot of these games are pretty tough to pull off. So we'll give it a go. Reasonable start with the Bomber Twins and the Hothead. The please don't be Shurima cards coming through. Alright, I'll have to try to get the deck tracker back up. I don't know why it's so challenging for me to do. Oh shit. Dude's bringing in the Sun Disk. He has... I'm curious if this is going to pop off for him. Alright, we don't have a real way around this Rockhopper. We'll just offer up the trade. I mean, we technically come out... Excuse me, we technically come out ahead since we did pick up the Diaz here, but... ideally, we just throw away more of a trashy unit. Curious. It's not. I always want to think that this is like a summon ability. It's an attack ability. So if we like give this a turn and put a Dragon's Protection on the Hothead, we might get multiple attacks out of it. I want to give this guy a hot minute before we just throw it away. Then our opponent's gonna just like 100% attack here, but I think this is okay. His Renekton survives by 1 attacking into the scales. Okay, there's a big boom of damage, but I don't feel like there's a ton we could do about it. Now we're ready. We're gonna zoom this 1 Claws of the Dragon onto the board. Cause all kinds of issues. Oh, make it 2. Alright, I think we're okay here. Not too much we have to worry about in terms of like Sonic waving the Otterpuss to take down Renekton. I mean, they might at the end of the day actually have Bandle City cards in his deck, but don't think we have to worry about it. I would expect the two trades to come in on our 3/2s. So we'll have the Hierophant at the end of the day. We'll still have the Hothead. Feel like that's enough. Okay. Practicing a little bit of that FTP bust math, but happens to the best of them. Oh, see, look at that. We got our Hothead combo returning to hand, replay, attack. doesn't doesn't do actual anything. I'm gonna completely forget that this is an attack ability, but it's nice getting to activate it twice. Uh-oh. The preservation is coming through, huh? Get to see. We've seen the Sun Disk flip a total of one time. It could happen. Zerath's getting kind of close to the flip zone. He's unfortunately already lost his Renekton. Oh, just get him. Alright. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Alright, so yeah, let's pick up more Lee Sins. Comes with Concussive Palm. That's good. I don't want these Jeweled Protectors, but it's kind of is what it is in terms of this deck. Oh, that's interesting. Fizz is the Bandle City champion. Doesn't count towards Bilgewater. I don't want the Fizz. I just think it's interesting seeing Fizz turn up with both Concussive Palm and Jeweled Protector. We most certainly want to pick up 3 Lee Sins today, but it kind of caught me a little bit off guard. All right. Yeah, I had such wonderful intent. It's nice Mario Day for you all to watch this on the video release hitting on March the 10th, and I was like, well, we'll put together a nice collection of champions, brew it up a bit with an M and A, an R and I, and an O champion. There's a champion for all the letters except for the O. But I was like, well, maybe we'll just fit in a 0 in there and call it a day and play no champions for the last deck. And so then it was like, well, let me go and click on the gauntlet. I was kind of curious what happens when, in terms of in terms of last chance gauntlets, we already got the Prime Galuri, but I just wanted to see, and then it was shut down. I was like, oh fuck, that's that's not going to work whatsoever. And so here we are playing Expedition. But here, not a terrible start. Like when we have 3 copies of Lee Sin, I'll shuffle him away. But when we only have 1 or 2 copies, I'll hang on to him. He's just so super important to whatever we're trying to do with our deck that I don't want him removed. Just as if you never draw him, you're in such a bad spot. Right. Not a terrible start. See if he's ready for our Arena Kingpin. We can take a 3-hit. I'm not excited about losing a unit to the Iceveil Archer. And then we can probably just pop off a Dragon Protection next turn. It's a little awkward getting the Hothead before we get the attackers down. Doesn't play anything. That's pretty suspicious. It's tempting to put the Dragon's Protection on the Arena Kingpin to protect it from Brittle Steel, but 7 mana not doing anything. That's so strange. Okay. Oh, let's boost this Lee Sin, huh? He's still like it's a little not ideal getting him on the board, but I think this is okay. We can actually play like Kennen plus Lee Sin next turn to get the barrier challenge. I don't like taking this health. Like we tend to be more of like a combo deck, and it's just it's a little scary the amount of damage coming in. Brittle Steel, sure. That's why I didn't attack with our 2 health units on the previous turn. It says, "Oh bust, you know it all." You know it all, my dude. All right, so let's add in Kennen. We have all these nice quick attackers on this board now. We'll follow up with Lee Sin, and then we're going to have access to both Mark of the Storm and Tiny Spear to try and get in a nice attack on this one. Can't burst the Tiny Spear down, which is a little scary, but we're looking pretty strong otherwise. Oh, I meant to put that on Kennen. It's not the hugest of deals on this board, but I wanted to spread the damage out. We're pretty far away from Lee Sin flipping, and so the damage for the Dragon Kick isn't ultra relevant. So I wanted to spread it out, so like here, when he has Harsh Winds, sure, has Brittle Steels or whatever, we're still chunking in for that extra point of damage. All right, now we need another spell. I have to revise that into saying we need another spell that we can actually cast. It's a little awkward on this board with the Steel Tempests. Shaman's Call. Oof. Somebody's trying to boom hard today. Wonder if he ever goes for the AoE. Killing that doesn't seem very good. Trying to see how far away we're way far away from flipping this, but I was curious if we could get a kill next turn if we double Steel Tempest this turn and then Concussive Palm away a blocker next turn and get some hooks going that way. Doesn't seem like it's going to be the case here, but interesting. He puts the Overwhelm onto the Archer. The Overwhelms are kind of a real problem here, but I mean, we can double stun and then get the good Lee Sin block when he has barrier. Sure. So he's tapped out. I mean, it's tough to like really care about either of these units. I think this is fine. It's like a little worrisome just kind of like throwing away these Steel Tempests. But, you know, as he's getting into these turns to where he can be like, here's an Alpha Wild Claw with another Alpha Wild Claw, but so close to ending the game. I think we can just take a hit. Oh, Sonic Wave? We flip with that? Yeah. Yeah, we do. So the Concussive Palm will give us an extra unit. It's not... fuck, that's such a bummer. I'm going to say it's not like guaranteed that this Dragon Kick is going to end the game, but it would have been pretty strong. Okay, so let's do this. Let's give Kennen Challenger. Let's give Kennen +2 attack. Do have to worry a little bit about another Frostbite. He could have a Brittle Steel, but I mean, it's not horrible if he does. Alright, so we kick for 8. Kill the other Overwhelm unit. That stops like a lot of the stuff I'm worried about in terms of him killing us with Overwhelms, but this one dum-dum was quite a bit of a problem. But still get it. GG. Okay, so Kennen for Zed. I'm not super interested in that. Oh, Coastal Defender. This is the first time in the history of me playing Expedition that I've actually seen a Coastal Defender. No, that's wild. That's wild. Like as we get here, like right towards the end, actually seeing him turn up in a trade. He's not horrible in our deck. Oh man, I got to do it. I got to take it. This is like our only chance to play it. Coastal Defender. Wow. It's been so long. They just never added him to the game. It got added to Expedition, and I don't think he was in the initial set. If he was in the Bilgewater set, right? That's when Lee Sin came out, or if he came along a little bit later. But man, I've just never, literally never had it. This is an interesting with Sonic Wave. We do have the options to quick attack challenge with Kennen, but I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it and just look for more units. Playing against Galio, I just have this vision of our Kennen getting stomped pretty quickly by like a Petricite Broadwing, and so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it while we can. No plays? Alright. This isn't ideal. Feels like we've missed out on a ton of damage. When we don't lead with the Yordle Squire. Alright. Everybody's got the Rockhoppers today. We got all the Steel Tempests. Look out. How bad is this if he just doesn't attack? We could lose Kennen. That's fine. You tried your hardest, my dude. we didn't really put you in a world to succeed, but you tried. You got that spell tick for Lee Sin, his first spell of the game. He appreciates the things you do. Alright, so not a super ideal board for Claws of the Dragon. Grand Plaza. Okay. I worry less about the Grand Plaza with all these Steel Tempests that we have. Interesting. Is planning on getting a good hook here. We got a good shutdown for that. This should realistically be one of these games to where we're able to just like drop Lee Sin and then just boom real hard next turn. Alright, well, let's just pass. He's most certainly going to attack with the Renekton. There's no reason to just add Lee Sin to that board. If something goes wrong, it's terrible, right? If opponent has a counter spell of some sort, not going to be really happy about it. Is this it? Is this the Rite of Negation coming in? Single combat. Okay. All right, so hopefully he doesn't have a second one, right? that would be a little bit unfortunate. Okay, he doesn't boom our Lee Sin. Okay, oh, it's -1 power and vulnerable. I see these come up and just always assume that they're +2 cost. That's not the case today. I think we'll still weaken the Merciless Hunter here. All right, do the dragon thing, my bro. Nice. Now we've still got the Steel Tempest ready for his next challenge. Looks pretty good. Let's just bank. I don't want to just kind of like advertise how good Lee Sin's going to be. All right, we have a ton of mana now. probably not. I guess adding the units doesn't matter that much. He's going to be able to... he's going to be able to just challenge whatever we play this turn, so it's not like we're going to get to pick a good block with the Fey Guide. Pretty tough to quicken as well, as he's getting all of his units boosted. But, I mean, we should be able to stun the Screeching Dragon. We could quicken one of our own units if we wanted to, but I guess it comes down to, like, do we want to spend 3 mana worth, or play 2 cards this turn for Lee Sin? I mean, we probably do. We're going to get to open Dragon Kick next turn. So let's do this. Let's stun down here to the right. We'll stun the Varg, whatever you're called. We'll quicken Otterpuss back to our hand. It's not ultra important. I was thinking, would we rather send back the Otterpuss, or would we rather quicken the Yordle Squire so we get the bonus attack? Probably just want the bonus attack. Right, we have the mana for all this. You can find the idea to just return Claws of the Dragon, because in that case it'll just come right back into play for free. But we have the mana here. We're good. Ooh, get an additional Claws on the board. Sounds good. So let's give Challenger to the little one. Hang on, let me double check on how this works. The ally kicks the enemy into the Nexus, striking both. If he survives, recall it. All right. We're gonna kick the dragon just to get rid of it. I'm not exactly sure how it interacts with tough. If it's only gonna cause Lee Sin to deal 3 damage instead of 4. Alright, but we get to do something like this. So it's going to say it's lethal, right? And we can hang on to the Sonic Wave, or the Resonating Strike, just in case we need to slam something. Did 4 to the face. Okay, good to know. Alright. Easy peasy. Lee Sin doing his thing. But you can see, right, how challenging these games are to win if you don't have Lee Sin. Like, if these games where, if we had, say, Jeweled Protector in place of Lee Sin, it's just, like, way, way, way harder to win. But he's definitely out here just doing his thing. Looking good, my dude. Okay. Ooh, so many scales of the dragon. I'm going to get rid of all of them. I want to find our cheaper plays, and I would rather just have Hot Head in terms of attacking early. Not a bad start. Need to pick up a Sonic Wave or something if we're going to get these Claws down, but got a good curve that doesn't involve playing them. On attack. Does this count as an attack? An ally kicks. Such a... I get it flavor-wise, but in terms of figuring out how the game works, it makes it a little bit more challenging. And I was hoping he would +2 cost our Claws of the Dragon. That would have been pretty choice. Rockfall Path, very good. One of the relevant ones. Very unit-heavy hand, though. This is one of these matchups where I'd feel really nice just to spew these Claws down to interact with the Otterpuss and give Kennen bad blocks, but just can't do it. Scales gets us a little closer. And just kind of think of like what we could actually draw next turn that would allow us to play a second spell, right? We have the 4 Sonic Waves, Quicken, but it's like if we draw Sonic Wave, then we just don't need the scales, and we would rather have Hot Head. So we have like 1 in Quicken, 3 in Concussive Palm. We don't have the mana for all that though. Or we could draw like Otterpuss, Yordle, Squires. It's gonna drop the Hot Head. This is looking like a space to where we're gonna want to open attack before our opponent plays a bunch of like Yordle Squire-esque cards. It's Rockfall Path. It's gonna boom an Otterpuss, isn't it? Not his strongest day. Not anymore. Sure. It's very expensive. And nah, might be nice if we ever draw our Lee Sin. It's got some time to go though. Alright, well, this could look okay. If we get to play 2 spells next turn and then drop the big claws and the little one, that would be nice. Gotta draw another spell at some point, right? Okay, we have the mana for all this. Took us a while to find it, but here come the big boys. Then we have to feel like relatively safe, right? He's even if he drops, say, like a Greenglade Duo, we have a Steel Tempest to stop the brunt of his damage. What was that? Regenerate? I always get confused about Regenerate and the Lifesteal symbol, but that's good. Not worried about Regenerate. Here they come. Get the claws ready. Sure. Do we still count as playing the spell? Ah, that's stupid. This game's dumb. This game's dumb. It still seems like we're just super far ahead, though, right? Even without getting our sweet play with the Claws of the Dragon on the board. He's just not doing anything relevant. He's getting really low. This is more relevant in Risu, but we have a stun for her. Just can't play 2 spells if we drop Lee Sin, though. What did he hit? Challenger with the Hot Head? Huh. Okay. It's like I don't think we're even really going to go for the Lee Sin this game, right? We probably can't lethal next turn, but we can get really close to just like acing his whole board. It's so awkward that like if he doesn't attack, then we can't play Steel Tempest, and then we can't actually play the Claws of the Dragons. Holy shit! Lee Sin's only seen 1 spell. Insane. Do we even care about this? Taking an impact? Because I mean, we're just gonna attack into it next turn. What if we Steel Tempest the Kinku Lifeblade? So we only take 2 damage on the turn. We have a trade out of these. We get the 2 claws on the board. I think I like this. Right, because we can it's not actually dealing damage to us with the Storm Cloud. Well, it's dealing 1 damage because that has impact, but it's not exactly relevant damage. And he is going to have to worry about a 6 damage dragon kick coming out of this claws, or the 7 damage one here. This should end it. I don't want to just like lead with the dragon kick. There's a decent chance he just has like a recall or a homecoming or something. Let's at least make him deal with all this stuff, and then maybe, you know, like replay Risu or something, and let us try and get a kill that way. Take it slow. Give him a chance to spend that mana. No, he's not spending it as I would like, but we'll give him the chance. Oh, he does have the Dana, the Memory's Cloak. Okay. Well, we're going to have non-mana next turn as well, so he's going to have to open on us. Oh, man, are you going to get our Dragon Kick again? Oh, dude. Okay. I still feel pretty safe. I mean, we have the Deny in hand, but it's kind of lame. Let's be real. We're trying to end this one with some class. Alright, well, we'll get at least one Dragon Kick. At least then he'll do it his way. No, he's not. He's not going to flip. God, this game's stupid. Alright, fine. What do we draw off of this? A fast? Lame. God, I'm gonna say we're sitting here with the Dana. It's gonna be pretty tough for him to finish us, but man, trying to go out with a little class. What do we got here? Don't want Whimsy, don't want Green Glade Duo. Trying to get us to trade Coastal Defender. Nah, man, this guy's gonna get his day in the sun. But alright. Man, I have been out there playing quite a bit of Constructed, but it's just all been with Scouts. Like, that's the thing that's mainly worried me about about having to switch to Constructed. The way I've, like, historically always played Constructed, and when I had a lot of success in Hearthstone and such, would just be playing, like, 300-400 games of the same deck. And then I played a lot of Wild, and then it was like, Wild doesn't rotate too often. It's tough for the format to really change. And just played so much of the same, like, 3 and 4 decks. So much. I played a lot of Aggro Druid, a lot of Secret Mage, and then a ton of Resurrection Priest. And it's like that's all you ever had to do. You just have to play the same 3 decks over and over and over again. You get to just get tons and tons of games under your belt and make those, like, super minor tweaks. But that doesn't really aid in terms of content creation that much. And so it's slightly awkward in those terms. All right, we're just going to boom here. Don't think we're going to want a Sonic Wave. We can quick attack challenge if we need to and chunk in a ton of damage. Just kind of depends on what they do. If they drop a Beast Below, perfect. I was going to say, then I feel a little bit better about it. And so let's get this rolling. I'm going to start with giving this Challenger, and then I'm going to stop and play Otterpuss so we don't miss out on the mana. Then we'll come back and Resonating Strike the Otterpuss. Shouldn't be too dangerous. There's not interactivity out of his factions, out of Shadow Isles, Bandle City, or Shadow. Oh no! Oh shit! I was talking and looking, and I forgot to get the hook. Oh, this is a disaster. Fuck. Okay, well, let's recover. Hopefully that's not gonna end us. He gets the value block. for an extra point of damage. Sitting here looking up at the Bilgewater symbol, trying to remember the name, and I just completely skipped over that challenge. Ugh. How bad's this gonna be now? Okay. Kind of painful in that we don't have a play. This would be so much better if we had two Claws of the Dragons and he had an empty board. It wouldn't feel nearly as bad. Or Steel Tempests. So brutal. Okay. I love seeing the vengeances go on units that aren't Lee Sin. It's a little scary playing against Shadow Isles with the Lee Sin. We only have the one deny, but I think this is a dragon kick. I was looking at like how do we get this Claws of the Dragon on the board, but this should answer this fairly easily. Take him down to 10. Get that dum-dum off the board. And maybe we burst out another Claws next turn. This is going to be lame, isn't it? Limps Beyond? Okay. So I'm going to say we haven't played any spells now since that got countered. I was going to say it's kind of interesting if we want to just go ahead and prank since we don't have like a ton of just useful dudes in our hand. Oh, Soul Gorger, Jesus, that's scary. Can we lethal this turn? We're short, right? We've got 6 from the Claws, up to 10 from the Resonating Strikes. But we can get in before the Soul Gorger comes down and then stun him out of combat next turn. See if he plays that 4 mana thing. Doesn't. Ugh, this is so bad now. Okay. Yep. All right, this one's probably out of reach. That's completely on me, though. I think this game would have been a pretty simple win if we got that hook onto his. If we got that hook right, that was just a sloppy mistake. Right, if we were out here, he prevented like 9 damage and killed 2 units just on the back of that one misclick, and so. I feel like we probably would have won that game. I think we would have pretty easily navigated around his expensive plays as we are just like quick attack challenging down everything that he does. But it's just fucking Bandle City, man. They're out here. it's always Bandle City's fault, right? That's who we're complaining about this week. And so, man, you can't remember their name and you have to stop and think about it too hard. That's certainly problems coming from Bandle City. All right, not the greatest of starts. This is a deck that at least functions if it has to bank the first 2 turns. We can get our Kingpin going on turn 3. Uh-oh. Oh, that's scary. Was it? I don't function as well against our boy Legion Rearguard. Such a weird collection of cards that he has, though, right? He has the Shyvana Vigio, but then he's also playing Legion Rearguards in this. Like, at what point does your Dragon deck want Legion Rearguard in it? That's such a strange card to see. All right. Just get down in front of this stuff. So do we ever want to play the Scales of the Dragon here just to get the opportunity for a more defensive unit? I don't think so. We could potentially play like the Scales next turn and then hook it up again, but doesn't sound super appealing. All right, the saplings are coming next turn. I have to see what he plays. I'm not entirely opposed to just like concussive palming the sapling before he attacks. So then we have a blocker. So how does this work? We play the Scales, he attacks with the Grizzled Ranger, then we get to play the card. And then if it doesn't go that way, we still have Steel Tempest to protect the Kingpin. This is okay. We are taking quite a bit of damage, but I think we're about to turn the corner in terms of protecting our units. And we're going to block the rear guard here. This prevents him from getting width, right? We can't take down the higher value unit in the Grizzled Ranger, but at this stage I want to block every unit that he has put forth. Vigio is not too scary. We have the deny ready for Lee Sin, protection, and then a Steel Tempest block if we need it. Passing dog. I'm all for just banking this mana if that's what it's going to come down to this turn. Wow, it's like you really gonna bring Vigio in? That's insane. So how upset are we if we lose the combat? Like he has a ton of mana. I'm leaning towards just like playing the Concussive Palm and then trying to just deal with him when we have more mana. But it's like, if he has a Concerted Strike, then we're just like hosed either way. I guess next turn we could look to like Sonic Wave with Lee Sin. Maybe this is the way to go about it. We just Concussive Palm. Next turn we'll have 7 mana, right? Okay. Then we can try and quick attack challenge down Vigio. Get another hook with the Lee Sin. This is just going to be a Concerted Strike and we're going to lose. Like, I can already tell. The dragon waits. Oh, maybe not. He would have just snapped it off if he had it, I think. We do ultimately have to worry about Atrocity to a degree now, but it was nice to get through that. Sure. Is he too big now? Goes up to 6. Okay. Of course, we do always have the option to just try and drag and kick away Vigio. I don't think we're going to need to do that, but... So who's the hook with Lee Sin, right? I think we want to kind of keep up this same idea. Let's just take the biggest unit down. He's probably going to block with the Grizzled Ranger, but that's okay. He blocks with both. That would be kind of fantastic. How you doing? And then things can get awkward. Like if he tries to play a Glimpse Beyond to boost his Vigio, kinda sucks. He's not close to flipping, but I don't want to have to deny a bad spell. But it was just like so weird he didn't play Concerted Strike last turn. It just seems like the play. I'm really hoping we get to deny it. Oxen Fervor. Maybe. See how upset we get by the number of spells that are going to come out of their hand. Y'all remember when Deny cost 3 mana? Okay, so there's the one boost onto Vigio that I was worried about. He's still like manageable at this point. The only downside to this now is we do get killed by Atrocity, and we gave up our we gave up our Deny. So a little bit worrisome in those terms. Okay. Not awesome, but it is the downside to playing against Shadow Isles, right? They have the just the hard removals for Lee Sin. Don't think he'll be super interested in attacking here. Shyvana. We don't even we don't have any units we can boost with the Jeweled Protector. So what happens if we don't play it? Like if we try and Dragon Kick Vigio, we're gonna take 5. Because we just have to throw like a terrible block down with the claws. I mean, it just seems so bad. But it's like are we ever getting to block Shyvana anyways? I don't think so. At least this way we can, like, he can't attack with Vigio because we'll just block with the claws. We have the 4/4 for the Badger Bear. And so realistically, once he starts to like line up our blocks, he should only be attacking with Shyvana. Possession? Are you fucking kidding me? 4, 7. Alright, well, we're not dead, but where does this shit even come from? Really? Oh, are we dead this way? Oh, that's 8. That's about right. Oh, what a frustrating way to go down. It's such. I think we played that game well, but with that previous one, just messing up that quick attack challenge is what ruined us at the end of the day. But I mean, that's the way life goes in terms of what pushes yourself into the top 8s of tournaments or going, if you're a regular top 8er into converting into wins. It's not having things like that happen, and that's not a mistake that happens as frequently when you're not forced to talk about all the games happening all the time and talk about Mario Day and stuff. But everyone certainly makes mistakes along the way, and that quick attack challenge was pretty bad. But I think we handled that last game pretty well. I think our strategy was pretty on point. I'm not sure. Like the big turn was coming down to the one to where we were trying to handle his Vigio. And we could have done it differently. We were prepared to handle one spell, but not prepared to handle 2. And so it's kind of one of these awkward spaces as to where we either just have to like ignore him, which could have been perfectly reasonable. We had the dragon kick to potentially just send him back to hand once he gets up to a scary level. And so we just say like, okay, well, I'm not going to deal with Vigio. I'm going to quick attack challenge with my arena kingpin and just take down one of your units. I'll just take down another one of your units with Lee Sin, and then we'll let Vigio hang out for a while. Because the thing you ultimately have to worry about is him having, like the Vile Feast. And so, say we try to hook Vigio with Lee Sin, he plays the Vile Feast, and then Lee Sin takes an assload of damage for the kill. And we were never really able to piece together like a ton of protection for him. And so I feel like that was okay. Like my line was, it really felt like he had a concerted strike that he was saving, and you're able to break up Lee Sin barriers when you do the little punch and then the big punch with the concerted strike, and I kind of felt like given the expense that concerted strike costs to cast, if that's his angle and we're going to get the deny, then then that's okay. But it wasn't really on my radar that we were going to have to deal with two cheap pings. It felt like there was just the one big one coming in, and so I think the angle there might have been kind of up in the air. But I think our general strategy against that guy was pretty okay. Like that was still a real weird fucking deck, seeing Noxus Blasts and Legion Rearguards coming out of a Shyvana Vigio deck, but kind of is what it is. But, when you see that come down, you do recognize that you just have to prevent as much damage as you can, and then your higher quality units should just take over the game. But I mean, that's real tough to do when they have those like real aggro openers, and they're just like, oh, by the way, here's Vigio and Shyvana, right? Those just aren't the cards that you usually have coming out of decks that way. So yeah, it was a nice roll there, a nice roll. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, in terms of the Lee Sin deck itself, this is kind of the way it usually goes. I look at it as a pretty polarizing style deck. There's just like lots of decks that can't handle what you're doing. If you get to drop Lee Sin, they just don't have the interactivity to help. You see lots of stuff like if you exclude things like Bandle City, to where they have access to a bunch of mini morphs and a bunch of Narstuns, and then if you ignore things like Shadow Isles and then the big collection of vengeances that they have, Lee Sin just kind of like runs rampant across everything else. Like he's extremely, extremely good against the various like Pantheon decks running around, and a lot of this is just kind of a matter of where say at the end of the day we're going to have a 60% win rate across all the games that we play. You could play a certain deck to where you're just a 60% win rate against everything. Sure, some will be 55, some will be 65, but it averages out to 60. This is kind of one of these decks to where you're going to have a lot of 40s and a lot of 80s, as opposed to having things a lot closer to 60. And so, not necessarily saying that that's what we ran into here, but as you're out there drafting Lee Sin, it's certainly something that you're going to run into. And man, I remember when Lee Sin Targon was the big boogeyman of the format, and everyone was calling for all the nerfs and everything. It happens every cycle. It happens every patch. I even got a little bit into the hype with this one and the Gnar and the Bandle City, but I think it's kind of petered out into an enjoyable format, and so. It's really awkward and frustrating when it's like you have to play against Gnar in like 70% of your matches, and then like after that first week it dropped down to like 40%, and then now it's like down to somewhere that's much more manageable. But there's always something. There's always a deck that everyone on Reddit's bitching about. Lee Sin was one of them. The Zir Aurelia was of course a big one, and now we're in the era of Gnar, and I'm curious to see what changes come along with the next patch. But again, if you're drafting your Lee Sin, the big things for this deck are stay away from Bilgewater. You only want the Lee Sin cards the Ionia cards coming through in your Spellslingers packs. Pick up the Claws of the Dragons where you can, and then make a heavy focus on either spells that make units like Concussive Palm, units that make spells like the 3-cost dragon thing that makes dragon protection, or spells that make spells, be something like Sonic Wave or Deep Meditation. And you're looking to have roughly 50-50 between spells and units in your deck. That'll get you pretty close. That's the big things to be looking for out here with this. But that is going to do it for the run. Looks like we actually have a reward for this one. Click on the old epic capsule, see how many shards we get, and that is going to do it. So let me check the front screen real quick. Home screen, nothing. So that is going to do it. Hope everyone enjoyed the trial. You learned how to harness the Dragon's Rage a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.